and for me, one of the ways that have one of the ways that's helped me for this exhibit, with you were asking about technology, and
Yeah.
let me do one quick share here, because
Yeah, great.
I do want to share one more aspect.
I always feel so inspired and kind of lit when we talk to each other, things get rolling. You know, they do.
So this is one of the other pieces in my show. It's called A Moment of Self-Reflection.
Mm.
And I'm not going to get into it too much, but one of the aspects in my show is I've got 9 of the 13 pieces are going to have augmented reality animations that are associated. I just wanted to play one just to kind of show
And can I
you.
make that to make that accessible for people? Because we've talked about it. They'll be in the show and they'll be looking at the piece on the wall, right, Michael? Can you kind of explain? So
Yeah,
that
okay. Yeah, good.
imagine this. Yeah.
Thanks for having me step back a second.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to put the word out, both locally and for anybody who's going to come to the show, is that you want to bring your smartphone, whether it's an iPhone or an Android phone. And there's a particular app called Arlupa that basically lets your phone act as a scanner on my artwork, for those that are activated with the augmented reality. And when you physically hold your phone in front of one of my pieces that has the augmented reality, it'll scan your camera in your phone will scan the painting, and it'll recognize it, and it'll start playing an animation that looks like the artwork comes alive. So I'm gonna go ahead and
Great. That helps.
demonstrate that. So this animation is what you would see on your phone screen.
Nice.
And this is further explanation or further visuals that help further tell the story. So it's an added it's an added bonus that technology is getting me. Now, as another tie-in to Techspressionism, one of the other artists, Lucy Boyd Wilson, who is in LA, I reached out to her and asked her if she would help me create some animations for me, because she's a really talented artist, animator, and she's also an ex-game industry person. So having that common language between us really helped us through this development process, because it was a pretty compacted schedule that she had to work under to help me get these animations. So anyway, that's another outgrowth of this worldwide community that you and I are part of, and I'm really grateful for it. So she's a collaborator on top of the collaboration that's happening with the technology app itself integrated into the exhibit. So it's another way for me to add a little bit more of that storytelling that you illustrated through your Diamondscape. This is a different way of doing it, but it's again using an expression and a technology that previously we would have never been able to utilize.
It's true. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's really interesting. Just the whole thing of the atelier and the people working in collaboratively, excuse me, I can't even say that word, collaboratively, reminds me of an exhibit I saw by a curator at the Metropolitan, I was very close to for many years, but one of his shows was called Rembrandt's Not Rembrandt. And, a time of great discovery and innovation, and like in the period of Rembrandt, I mean, he was also experimenting with lithographs and all sorts of things. And they weren't even numbered because people didn't even know to number them. But
Oh my
that gets to a
gosh.
whole nother discussion.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but he called it Rembrandt, not Rembrandt, and to the point it was that people were painting at such a high level, and the intensity of their work was, even if it wasn't a Rembrandt, it was a great painting, you know. And
Yes.
to get into that kind of dialogue and that kind of high world of art where you know, the expectations are rising, and I feel like we're doing that with each other when I see good work in textpressionism.com when people are presenting, which has been on a pretty high level.
Yes,
Um,
I agree.
it excites me. I mean, you know, because it raises the bar, and the bar needs to be raised. So, you know, thinking on many layers of technology, aesthetics, meaningful, you know, accessibility, all sorts of things to think about. That I think we have a dialogue that I hope to see continue.
Yes, absolutely. I agree, Roz. And then the other thing in terms of my vision for this grand scope of Call Me Ishmael is a friend of mine, um, David Carpenter, who is a talented musician, who's, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but whose album cover I
Yes.
created a couple years ago.
Yeah,
Um,
fun.
we I approached him to create basically a musical soundscape for my exhibit. And
Good.
so
Oh,
he
cool.
just pretty much wrapped it up. He's going to be offering the music as an album online, and I've been doing an album cover for that. So there's going to be a Call Me Ishmael album with 13 pieces of music to correlate with the 13 pieces of artwork in the show. So this is what I talk about when the storytelling thing for me is the musical aspect that's going to be sort of background music in the exhibition space adds just another layer on top of everything else, and I'm
Yeah.
really excited by that. I'm excited to have collaborated with David on that, and yeah, it was exciting. It's been beyond creating the 13 pieces of artwork. There's been a lot of extra work involved. So, but it's worth it to me. It's worth it to me because this is, for me, this is what an exhibition is for me as this particular artist. Um, my exhibitions are about telling stories, and I wanted it to be on multiple levels and
It sounds so
multiple
exciting.
sensory levels.
Yeah, and the truth is, when you go down a path of discovery and you start doing animation, well, you know, sound just naturally enters. As someone who knows sound so well said to me, well, Roz, once you make something move, it's like when you take a step, there's a sound when you take a
Exactly.
step.
Yes. Yes.
So it's if you don't have sound, it's intentional, you know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you start to investigate sound because that's a natural extension.
Yes. Yes.
So it's interesting. Well, this has been a wonderful dialogue, and I
Thanks,
wanted to just,
Roz.
before we leave, we both have shows up right now. Mine's been up, the one about
Yes.
the weekends. I hope it'll travel if anybody's interested in it
Yeah.
traveling, be in
Share,
touch.
share the details, whatever
Yeah,
details you want.
yes. Um, and it's 18 digital drawings of, well, they're not all digital, actually. Some I went back to charcoal on paper.
Ah,
So that was kind of interesting. You know, I'm starting to look at oil paints and go, wow, look at all the luscious layers in there. So I'll see what happens. But you know, we both have concurrent shows going up right now, and have talked about how they have some, you know, similarities, and also my other pieces, the Diamondscapes. But I wanted to mention when are the dates. My show is
yes.
up in Shelter Island, New York, through August and maybe longer, and looking to travel. And your show, Call Me Ishmael, is when
It's
is that open? And
it
why don't we tell everybody
yeah.
about that?
It's going to run the month of September. It opens on Friday, September the 3rd, at the 515 Arts Gallery in Phoenix, which is the gallery that I'm a part of the collective. So yeah, so this is my month of September is my solo show, and it'll be the gallery's open on Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. And if anybody's local and wants a like a private tour, you can contact me, and I'm happy to do that as well.
it's good to know. What's your, how do you want to be contacted? Do you put
Um,
your email out there? It might be good to mention.
my email address, michael@michaelpierreprice.com, is my easiest way to get a hold of me. My website, michaelpierreprice.com. There's a form as well. So if you forgot, but it's michael@michaelpierreprice.com. Yeah.
Well, this has been really wonderful talking to you.
Yeah,
And
I'm grateful. I'm grateful I'm grateful you had the time, because I know you're a very, very busy person, but
I interrupt myself
it's
all the
fun to
time.
connect with you, Roz. Having conversations are always illuminating.
They really are. And, I was just saying that I do interrupt myself all the time. Like my husband goes, well, who's keeping you busy? And I go, well, there's always another idea that pops up. So that's wonderful. And I can only say to young people who might be listening to this, that, if you have a big interruption in your life and it seems interesting, which digital was for me,
Yeah.
and for many of us who've been working in this,
Yes.
follow that interruption until,
Yeah.
just keep following it. 'Cause
Yeah.
life doesn't go in one linear thing. It does
It
bump around like
does not.
the particles, you know.
It's very
Well,
non-linear. I agree.
well, I'm hoping I can get to see your show, and if I don't, I'll somehow be there via
Yeah.
new dimension we're in.
Yes, exactly.
Thanks for.
We might actually do a live stream. I'm not sure yet. I'm working on details on that. So
That would be great. That would be great. Well, it's been a wonderful discussion.
same here, Roz. I appreciate it, and great talking with you.
You too.
See you soon.
You too.